There's no drugs in his system. And this goes to the foundation of the case, that when you open the dash camera, they want to tell you that they're arguing inside the vehicle.
No, they weren't. They looked like they were holding hands. They were there was no arguing. There was no friction. None of that.
No. And exactly, I mean, when you watch the dash camera, you see that they're passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times.
Yeah.
What are they smoking? I mean, we just watched his toxicology that shows no alcohol, no drugs. Dorothy and Mustafa are passing back and forth. It's hemp. Hemp doesn't have drugs. There's no drugs in hemp.
Right.
CBD.
It's CBD. There's no drugs in hemp. Dorothy has cancer, and for her to relieve her pain, she smokes hemp. And they're passing back and forth hemp. Now, that's why the Commonwealth Attorney is terrified to release this dash camera. She wants to tell you, because she's the government, because she's the Commonwealth Attorney, that you're going to take her word for it. She tells you that they're arguing inside the vehicle. She tells you that Mustafa told us he was arguing inside the vehicle. Wait a minute. I have an audio between Mustafa. And what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to play what NBC4 is talking about. Because when we took the audio to Internal Affairs that this investigator had falsified Mustafa's statement, this went out on the news. And NBC4 is telling this to the community. So I'm going to pull this up on YouTube.
Tonight, there are new questions being
raised
in the case of a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
They come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey spoke to the driver's defense attorney about why he thinks the finding casts doubt on the case.
Mustafa Al-Jaziri has been behind bars for almost a year now, accused of intentionally driving his car into oncoming traffic, a crash that killed Dorothy Fontaine and her 5-year-old daughter, Empress. Initially charged with manslaughter, the charges were later upgraded to second-degree murder. Al-Jaziri
upgraded to murder within 5 days of us supplying the police department with an audio that this investigator falsified Mustafa's police report, that Mustafa never said he was arguing inside the vehicle. And this investigator falsified the police report by telling you, by putting on his police report, that Mustafa told me he was arguing inside the vehicle. There's the audio's on the internet. The police report. Yes, ma'am.
When did he ask that, though? That's the thing. Like, so I know that your brother, he was in a coma, correct? Like, what point? Yeah, at what point you said he didn't remember the correct year? So when was that question specifically asked? Because you can't do that.
So Mustafa was released from the hospital. Mustafa wakes up out of a coma. They do a toxicology report. They release Mustafa that night after, I think Mustafa was in the hospital for almost 5-6 hours. The body cams, there's a timestamp when Mustafa was released from the hospital. And in the body cam, you see Mustafa goes through a spectrum of events. I mean, at one point he's unconscious. At one point he wakes up. At one point, their documents inside the hospital say that he went into a complete coma for 30 minutes. He wakes up. I mean, he doesn't even know where he's at. And you get that when you watch the police body cams. Eventually, Mustafa is released. We're in the lobby. The family's in the lobby. Mustafa is released from the hospital. We take Mustafa. Mustafa is in bad shape. I mean, he's banged up everywhere. They wheel him out in a wheelchair. He barely gets up. And then we find out that at one point, and this is when you go into the details of what they've done. The paramedics have injected Mustafa with 50 mcg of fentanyl. And we'll get into what does that mean and what they've done. I mean, when you watch the hospital police body cams, the paramedic would inject Mustafa into 50 mcg of fentanyl, and then in the hospital, you see that the investigator is engaging Mustafa in an interrogation.
That should not be admissible because with fentanyl on board in his system, his testimony, whatever he said, should be completely
along with the head trauma.
I mean, when you find out, when you watch these bodies, it's heartbreaking because you see Mustafa, he doesn't know where he's at. He keeps asking for his family. They're toying with Mustafa. They're telling him that your family is fine. Your family is okay. We're taking care of him. And all of a sudden, 4 hours later, they drop a major bombshell on Mustafa and tell him your girlfriend has been dead. What are they doing here? Now, you inject Mustafa with fentanyl, and then you have the investigator sitting there with a body cam recording you. What do you hope out of this transaction? Are you hoping that the 50 mcg of fentanyl that's going to put you on cloud 9 is going to knock you out, that you're not going to have any reaction? You don't even know what they're telling you, that they want to record you for the prosecution, that when we told him that his family was dead, he didn't care. Is that what you want? Is that what the whole transaction was? Is that what they wanted to do? Is that what they're doing? That's what it looks like. And then when you watch the body cam, all Mustafa is doing, Mustafa is crying, Mustafa is broken, Mustafa is asking. He doesn't eat, he's not even processed. He's asking for his family. He's crying for his family. He's broken. When they tell him that your girlfriend is dead, you have, this is the body cam from inside the hospital. This is Mustafa.
Was she dead on impact?
There is details. So there are details that I'm trying to work through. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, I have a police body cam.
She was flown to the hospital.
Dorothy was still alive. Now, Dorothy in the hospital, in on the record, in the documents, it shows that Dorothy was still alive. The testimony of the first officer, the DC officer says this. That's the first officer that made contact with the vehicle accident. He said Dorothy was reaching into the back of the vehicle and talking. She's talking about, I think he said she's referring to Empress, help Empress, or something like that. I mean, there's a whole entire statement given by the officer. He's telling you that Dorothy was alive. Wait a minute now. I thought they said that Dorothy died on impact. Right. Why am I getting a statement out of the DC officer that Dorothy was alive, that he heard her talk and reach into the back of the vehicle? So Dorothy was alive. And the question here is, you have a helicopter on standby. Why was 5-year-old Empress not medevaced to the hospital?
She should have been the first one to go out. A child is always the priority.
Now, does it make sense that you put Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress in an ambulance over an hour to the hospital during rush hour? What are you doing?
No.
And instead, you helicoptered Mustafa. In one body cams, he said he doesn't need to be helicoptered. In another body cam, they're helicoptering him. Why is Mustafa? I mean, every time I talk to Mustafa, Mustafa tell me, why did they not medevac my family?
Right.
And then I look into this file. The body cam of Officer Margiotta, Andy Margiotta, that's the DC officer that's talking about Dorothy was alive. He heard her he heard her talk. He saw her. He says that she's reaching into the backseat. Dorothy's alive. That body cam is nowhere to be found. Now here's the problem.
How convenient.
I fucking accessed the police department server. Now, with the help of individuals, I've gained access into Mustafa's file. Now, why is that body cam not there?
Right.
How convenient that they don't want to show you what actually happened. And what they're saying is they premeditated. I mean, they're saying it's intentional. You don't have that body cam? Now, we know that the body cam is there. It exists. It's not in Mustafa's file. Now, and now you're talking about Mustafa has to be doing this on purpose. This has to be intentional. What exactly happened? Did someone make the wrong call and not airlift 5-year-old Empress, Mustafa's girlfriend Dorothy? Something happened. Did they make the wrong call? I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's intentional. That's bullshit. I'm telling you that someone made the wrong call. And now you're talking about...
What's his motive? What are they saying his motive is?
There is no motive. Right? 3 months in a relationship, there's zero motive. All he had to do was get out of the relationship. This makes no sense. It's because he sued the fucking police department.
No
can I say
kids,
something
none of that.
from a
No.
medical standpoint? I'm a retired trauma flight nurse,
Yes, ma'am.
and children are always first priority to go.